Welcome to A.R.Rahman, sir. I say this with complete authority because we feel like we belong here now. We've been here forever. But thank you for coming. Thank you for visiting us. You know, we are sitting here today in the latter half of 2022. I don't know if you realize this, but it's been 14 years since Mr. Blessy and me first shook hands and decided to do RDG with him. 2008 is when this started. And after our first discussion of wanting to do this film and wanting to take it international, like today, even back then, our first aspiration was A.R.Rahman.
Oh my God.
So, and both of us were pessimistic. We didn't think this was going to happen. But I told Blessy, we have to make an effort. You know, we have to somehow get to Sir and speak to him. And I remember so clearly the day he called me and said, Rahman sir is doing a film. I thought he was pulling a fast one. But, here we are today, and I've listened to what you have done for the film, and I cannot wait for the world to listen to what you have done for RDG with him. But I know this is going to sound like the most cliched interview question. I have to know, and I'm sure everybody wants to know, what made you say yes?
I think for each movie, we belong to certain movies.
Yeah.
And that can never be, destiny can never split that.
Yeah.
I was super busy.
Yeah.
I was doing many other things. I was doing my own movie production. I was directing one stuff. In between, when he came in and he was very slow talker. I'm like 1,000 things moving in my mind. Sir, in the movie is... I'm doing it. And it is so nice. And the more we went into it, I knew that this is a very serious man and is dedicated his life to art. And working with people like Blessy, Mr. Blessy is a blessing for us because they remind us what commitment is again and again. Even though we are committed, even more when people, like you said, 14 years, it's a dream of a person to make a movie. That means his conviction and his preparation to give us that much of his life for one single thing, and pulling an amazing crew who are all believing in the project, and a beautiful story.
Even today, just like back in 2008, he belongs to the creme de la creme of Malayalam industry.
Yes.
I mean, he's one of the few filmmakers who
I'm lucky to
can walk to any star in Malayalam, and say he wants to do a film, and we'll just say, yeah. Even before Blessy tells us what the film is about, we'll say, yeah, of course we are doing the film. And he's invested 14 years of what is essentially the peak of his career to make this film. So all of us here, including me, the cameraman, the production designer, we all are quite aware that we are just being part of his vision.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that his vision has got the A.R.Rahman music to go with it.
I hope I can do justice.
I know you have. I'm getting there. I want to talk to you about what the music has done to the film. I'm getting there. But one thing I want to know is, this film obviously is based on one of the largest selling works of literature in Malayalam, which is again inspired from a real life incident. There is one thing in the story that has always struck me as an actor, and that one element is faith. I think Najib's journey in the desert is in itself strangely and in a lot of ways, in an enlightened sort of a way, is very spiritual.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is about faith. What is it about the story that struck you? That one thing, if you had to put your finger on it.
I didn't even know which faith the movie is about.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I said yes, and I said, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, Blessy sir has come, and I have to do this. I said, "I've not done a movie." People are saying, "Why are you not doing Malayalam movie?" This is a great movie to start with because not every movie is very music friendly.
Yeah.
Like certain movies, whatever you do will take it, like a mother, and it will display the best of your work to the world. And very rarely those things come to composers.
Yeah.
If you get a movie like that, you're lucky to have that stuff. Some things will slip away from you, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I felt like this movie has come to you for you to score, and for you to push yourself and see what soul you can bring back. And as you talked about faith is a very complicated thing. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It keeps you going, but the paradox of it is, the more God loves you, the more He puts you to test.
True.
And whether it's a prophet or whether it's in any religion, the tests are for faithful people, and that's to cleanse them, to take them to even more greater heights.
Yeah.
And when I watched some of the visuals, he put exactly like what he said in film.
Yeah.
And you look like super epic in this.
Thank you so much. It's, you know, this is one of the arguments I've had with Blessiat and Mr. Blessy during the making of the film. So we've had this argument on why would he not have tried to commit suicide?
Yeah.
Why would he not have tried to take his own life?
Because there is the saying, there is a belief, like in Islam, it says it's haram. Like all your faith, all your belief, all your prayers, all your good deeds will get cancelled if you try to suicide.
So I kept telling him, I don't think it's in his hands. I don't think he has the right to do it. You know, I think Najib would be the kind of person who, after a point, realizes that no, this is a test meant for me to live through, and I have to live through this. And that's a journey of the film, and that's a journey of making the film. Actually,
we all go through this.
Yeah.
In different ways. You know, I went through this. You might have gone through in a very different way.
Yes.
You know, not that you have to be put into a desert. Maybe you are now.
Yes.
You believe in something. But we come out of it. If you take it as a challenge, it's a challenge. If you take it as a punishment and you want to brood about it, you can keep, you know, all crying and all this stuff. I feel like, I tell my people, like when there's a challenge, when there's some problem, that's a challenge for you to hope, because the next stage is waiting for you. And that's the challenge which you have to tick mark, that you have achieved it, you faced it, you won it.
Yeah.
And that's a great lesson for us.
I agree. Another thing I want to talk to you about is, we actors have processes about how we comprehend a script and how we understand a character, and our process is largely based on what is written on paper and what the director tells us. What is the process behind scoring a film, especially a film like this? Where do you start from? Do you start from a bit of background music, or do you just...
It's crazy. Sometimes my worst fear is like you go next to the keyboard or sit and then nothing comes to you and everything sounds bad or everything sounds like something you've done before. So it's a refinement constantly. You know, like, because I worked in the movie industry for 40 years now, 10 years of playing, 30 years of composing. There's a preset already telling me how to do this. Or just take a violin and then take up strings and then you can do a theme and then it'll sound good. No. But that's been heard before.
Yeah.
Like what is the sound of this soul of the story which is going to make the theme of this, the soundtrack of this one.
Yes.
So like past 2 days I've been looking at the goats, looking at the camel, looking at the desert, looking at the sand and thinking, what is that sound? Actually.
Have you found it?
No.
Well, I hope you do.
Yeah.
But whatever sounds we have listened to that you have given us, I have to tell you, it's affected us in such a way. I want to tell you a small incident. Your track, Periyone.
Periyone en Rahmane, Periyone rahi. Periyone en Rahmane, Periyone rahi.
So while shooting this, we played the rough track of Periyone on speaker, so that everybody would get the mood. The camera trolley would know at what pace to move, the actors would know what the mood of the scene is. And I think pretty much everybody teared up. I know I did, because Blessy would come and tell me, no, you can't cry. I said, what do you mean? No, he's too dehydrated to cry. And I'm like, I'm trying not to. So what music does to a moment in a story, what music does to a point in your performance, it is just inexplicable, and we have to thank you and no end for giving us that track.
The words,
in advance.
actually, the words came in and the words were so beautiful. The words were so beautiful that I recorded it and then said, it's beautiful, but there's no anchor for this. And so I asked the singer, what do you call God? Like, so you can say Periyone, you can say. So I've heard some of the Mapla songs, you know, as a child, and then I said, okay, let's take some words out of it. And so we made the chant on the fly. So Periyone, Rahmane, Periyone, Rahim.
Yeah,
and these are the A.R.Rahman and Rahim.
That song is a trance.
And it's what it goes beyond religion actually. When it says something, which is called the merciful.
Yeah.
And so compassionate. And I like the strangely many tracks.
Yeah.
There is a Arabic track which
of course.
I was scoring for the Messenger of God in Paris.
Yeah.
So when I was scoring for that movie, I was working with the trio Gibran, the three brothers, and I asked them, "Do you have any female singer? I feel like we can have a. I just want to record some hummings." And I said, "There's a famous singer. There's one singer I can call her." So this lady comes out and she just starts singing, and we're all tranced. Unbelievable, Sana Musa. And so I said, "Just sing whatever you." So she sang one of the folk songs, ancient stuff, and this song is from that recording. And I didn't know where to put it. I felt like we should release it as a single. And then when he came in and he talked about the desert, I said, "This is it, Bedouin."
Yeah.
And this is the track. And then he heard it. And then Blessy said heard it, and he said he really loved it.
Yeah.
So that track came about like a rare jewel.
Yes, it did. I mean, there is so much I want to speak about the music on the film, but I also feel that people should listen to it first.
You should not
people should listen to it because
subjective.
I'm anticipating that the effect it had on me when I first heard. If half of that is created on an average listener, they're in for some serious treat.
Thank you.
About the first song we shot, which was back in Kerala in 2018. It was very surprising for me because I mean this in the most complimentary fashion, because the first time I heard that track,
you didn't like it?
No, I loved it. It to me seemed like what an informed Johnson master or Ravindran sir would maybe do if they were around today with the most modern instrumentation. Did you listen to Malayalam film music?
Well, I grew up on Malayalam music. My father.
But it was more than quarter of a century.
My father served.
Of course.
I mean, to every. And he did his own music, and he was the whole foundation of my first 15 years was Malayalam.
You were always in touch.
I looked at every director would come to my dad's place, or every assistant director, every tabla player, every lyricist, and the smell of BD. These like after he passed away, but still it was next Arjun Master and A.D. Umar, and so I was playing with Johnson. So it just lingered for another 6 years after my father did. Then I went to Tamil and Kannadam and Telugu and all that stuff. So when something's itched in your mind from childhood, it never goes away. Dasetan's voice.
Yes.
So it's like consciousness. It's deep into the consciousness of me.
Yeah, I mean, even that was the first, some of the first footage we ever shot for the film, and we were all so excited that we are listening to A.R.Rahman music in Malayalam after 26 years, if I'm not wrong, and that was like an epic moment for all of us. I remember we were in Kerala and we played the song on speaker, and everybody went, "Oh." What about Aadjividam, the film, you think makes it something beyond a Malayalam feature film?
I've not seen the whole film yet.
Yeah.
But I've seen bits and pieces. Looks epic. It looks like today's Lawrence of Arabia kind of a visual,
wow,
right?
Okay, that's.
The cameraman is amazing.
Yeah.
They've done, they've just lived in it. They all know fingertips what to do. And so when I went for my first shot, they told me do this, and I looked at the shot. I said, I know that I look awkward in many things, so I can do things which whatever's good in it, you pick up from it. I'll do some freewheeling. So I said, I'm not an actor. I can't fit in everything you say, but I'll do my own thing. So I did what Blessy ji said, and then I did my own thing. And I said, okay, do your freewheeling now and everything.
And one last question that I have to ask you personally is, I know that you're in the middle of 1,000 things. You're probably the busiest person out there. I also know you have a deadline coming up. You have to deliver a film as soon as you go back. I know that. I'm privy to that information. What made you want to come and visit the place?
I didn't even know. I felt like I was looking at my schedule and it was looking impossible. There's Maneesh sir waiting for PS2, there's Gautaman waiting, there's Cobra waiting, there's so many, and my own movie distribution is waiting, and my daughter's wedding reception is happening.
Oops.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to Dubai, I'm going for the IPL. I told my assistant, just put a flight, don't tell anybody that we're coming. We'll just go quietly and finish those 2 days and go back to the rest of it.
Is this trip going to help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
I mean, who would it's like a paid holiday in a way.
You know, we have always believed we are making a very special movie, but we are going to flatter ourselves and tell ourselves that we are making something very, very special because A.R.Rahman came all the way to visit us. Thank you so much for taking time out.
Thank you.
And
Good luck to all the crew. Every single member, you could see their commitment.
thank you, sir.
And thanks to you, thanks to Blessy, thanks to the producer.
Thank you. We hope we make a film that's worthy of your music.
God bless. Let God bless this film and let this film's meaning and soul reach every person, inspire them.
Thank you so much.